Will Sri Rahul Gandhi be raided by the ED and subsequently arrested? I repeat my question. Will Rahul Gandhi be raided by the ED and subsequently arrested? What do you think? You might wonder why I'm raising this question. I'm raising this within a very specific and concrete context. In order to mark the context, let me read out a tweet that Rahul Gandhi shared with everyone late last night or very early this morning, 2 a.m. The tweet read as follows. Apparently, 2-in-1 didn't like my Chakraview speech. ED insiders within quotation marks. EC insiders tell me a raid is being planned. Waiting with open arms. Chai and biscuit on me. That is to say, he got information from inside sources of the Enforcement Directorate that a raid is being planned on him. And he says that he is waiting to receive them with open arms. Open arms, of course, is an expression of hospitality, which in the Indian culture must be extended to all. One of the native strengths of Indian culture, the Indian spiritual culture, is hospitality. Hospitality means acceptance of the other as the other is, unconditionally. It is a state of open heartedness, open mindedness towards all who care to come to you. Who says, I'm waiting with open arms, chai and biscuit on me. So that's the maximum hospitality I can extend, given the financial constraints in which I'm now required to operate. You know, the official accounts of the Congress party remain frozen, and the party is facing serious resource crunches. Well, that's not any of my concerns. I'm not a party man. So, what happens to the party funds and all doesn't bother me one bit. So, this is the tweet that Rahul Gandhi has shared with everyone. And I wouldn't have taken this likelihood seriously. I wouldn't even have taken notice of it if this tweet had not originated in Rahul Gandhi, and I would have simply dismissed it as fake news. But then I have to say that when the Prime Minister made the open statement carried by the media through the length and breadth of this country, that he feels that the opposition parties are strangulating him, treating him in a very shoddy and insolent manner, denying him the fundamental right that every citizen is entitled to, not only the Prime Minister of India, every citizen is entitled to, namely freedom of thinking, freedom of expression, freedom of opinion. That is being denied to the Prime Minister. Now, that of course, I made my stand very clear on this issue soon after the Prime Minister's speech in the Parliament was over. You would remember that video where I expressed my strong disapproval of any attempt on the part of any of the opposition parties, all the opposition parties combined as India Alliance, to disrupt the Prime Minister's speech. I believe that speeches made in the Parliament are meant to be heard not merely by the members of the Parliament, but by every citizen of India. It is the fundamental right of the citizens of India to be informed of or to be provided access to the proceedings of the Parliament, because these proceedings directly affect the well-being of every citizen. Therefore, citizens do have a right to know what is being said in the Parliament. And therefore, I do not approve of anybody's strategy to disrupt the speech of anybody else, whether it is of the treasury benches, of the opposition parties, doesn't make a difference to me. I believe that fundamental rights must be protected, but it must be available, the fundamental rights must be available equally to all. It cannot be that it is the preserve only of those who wield power and others have no right to exercise it. So, that said, let me come back to the immediate context which compels me to make this video. It will be a very brief video. And the sole purpose of this video, the only purpose of this video, is to elicit your reactions to this, because if Rahul Gandhi has bothered to share this tweet with all who would be interested in it at the unearthly hour of 2 a.m., surely he wants people to think about it, people to be aware of it, and people to formulate their opinion. Now, in this context, let me share with you the opinion of a political person for whom I have some appreciation. She belonged to the Congress party, then she migrated to the Uddhav Thackeray Shiva Sena, and her name is Priyanka Chaturvedi, a very well spoken, cultured public personality, or a person in politics. And therefore, I thought it would be appropriate to let you have her reactions to this.
ईडी के ऑफिशियल्स फिर से उनके यहाँ पे छापा दे सकते हैं, तो वो यही है, जब जब सरकार डरती है ईडी आईटी और सीबीआई को आगे करती है। तो इस तरीके से मिसयूज जो हो रहा है, हम बार बार इसी की बात कर रहे हैं, इसी के ऊपर चर्चा हो रही है कि कितना ये सरकार ईडी आईटी और सीबीआई के हवाले से अपना एजेंडा चलाती रहेगी। तो उन्होंने यही जानकारी दी है कि उनको पता चला है इस बारे में, और अगर ईडी ऑफिशियल्स आते हैं तो आइए कार्रवाई करिए। इसी तरीके से आपने महुआ मोइत्रा के साथ किया, ऐसे ही आपने संजय राउत जी के साथ किया, ऐसे ही आपने संजय सिंह जी के साथ किया, ऐसे ही आपने हेमंत सोरेन जी के साथ किया, ऐसे ही आपने अरविंद केजरीवाल जी के साथ किया जो अब तक रिहा नहीं हो पा रहे हैं, मनीष सिसोदिया के साथ हुआ है, सत्येंद्र जैन के साथ हुआ है। तो ये जो कार्रवाई चल रही है, ये सिलेक्टिव कार्रवाई, वो दिखाता है कि ये सारी जो एजेंसीज हैं उन्होंने अपने घुटने इस सरकार की तरफ टेक दिए हैं।
So that's Priyanka Chaturvedi's reaction. Now, I have not formulated my views on this matter. Perhaps by now you know that I take my time to form a stand on anything, because I assume full responsibility for what I say. And I say nothing, or I do not take a stand which is not compatible with my larger sense of mission, which is to bring an element of dignity into public life and to keep people reminded of the high culture, by which I do not mean the culture of the high society, the fashionable culture. By high culture, I mean a culture that is illumined by the higher faculties of a human being, higher thought, nobler sentiments, high idealism, and the aristocracy of the spirit as against the aristocracy of worldly possessions. So, uh, I dream of an India where the nobility of the spirit shines supreme, and that nobility becomes the guiding light for all citizens to decide what they should do, what they should say, how they should go about saying and doing, how they should relate to the country, how should they relate to each other, so on and so forth. India as a land of light, that's my dream. So, if at all I take interest in any issues political, it's only with the intent or with the purpose of promoting this high spiritual intellectual culture, which alone I believe is in harmony with the best interests of the country long term. So, whenever I find cheap, low, degraded interests being popularized, I feel deeply pained, and um, I'm sure that the native goodness of the Indian mind thanks to the millennia of spiritual nurturing of the Indian soul, the soul of India, the nation. Though we are a young nation, we are an ancient people, and all that the soul of India has experienced over 3,000, 4,000 years cannot just vanish because of some political gimmick here and there. These political gimmicks will disappear, but the light of the Indian soul will remain. So, our aim must be to stay focused on the light in the soul of India and to do everything possible to ensure that that light shines supreme. As I've said once before, not merely for our own sake, but for the sake of humanity as a whole. So, the purpose in this video is to elicit your responses. So, I would like you to respond to this question, maybe two or three questions. Let me formulate the questions as follows. First of all, do you think Rahul Gandhi's perception or apprehension, if you like, based on the insider information he has received, that an ED raid is being planned to be conducted on him, do you think this is credible? Or if this is a ploy or a strategy in order to instill fear in Rahul Gandhi so that he remains tongue tied or at least guarded in his speech, so much so the kind of unregulated, unfettered rhetorical attacks he has been mounting on certain personalities who really matter supremely in this country are desisted from. So, do you think this information that Rahul Gandhi has got from the insiders is genuine information, or this is planned information so as to instill fear in him? That's the first question. Second question is, if the information turns out to be correct and Rahul Gandhi is raided by the ED, would that result in his arrest and custodial imprisonment? Not custodial, arrest and being shut out from public life and being kept in the prison, as it were, kept in custody, so that he is not able to get more and more into contact with the ordinary people of this country. Because on current evidence, wherever Rahul Gandhi goes, whoever he interacts with, an attitude or an atmosphere of tremendous and irresistible positivity, indeed of great affection for Rahul Gandhi, seems to be the inevitable result. So, from the point of view of the BJP, Rahul Gandhi is becoming a national epidemic, an epidemic of popular affection, if you like. Therefore, in order to arrest this epidemic, it's felt to be necessary to shut him out of the public view, just like Imran Khan is being kept in prison now for nearly a year. He's about to complete a year in 3 or 4 days. So, are we imitating Pakistan in this respect, that the foremost opposition leader will not be allowed to move around freely and interact with the people or speak his mind? So, second question is, will the ED raid result in the arrest of Rahul Gandhi, and will he therefore be banished from public life, just as he was banished from the parliament in the last session for a certain period of time? The third question is, if Rahul Gandhi is arrested and put in prison, will this boomerang on the BJP, or will the stratagem in having him arrested yield political and electoral dividends to the BJP and the coalition that it leads? Namely, will the impression that Rahul Gandhi has done something horrendously wrong get wide public acceptance, And will that succeed in destroying the credibility that Rahul Gandhi is gaining and the kind of public respect and trust that is definitely and alarmingly increasing in his favor? So, on the whole, will the BJP a gainer or a loser on account of this stratagem, or will it prove to be a terribly misguided strategy on which actually the political destiny of India could hinge? So these are three very simple but central questions. I would like to elicit the opinion of all my viewers on these questions. You can deal with them freely. Don't say a word in order to please somebody. Let's stay strictly committed to truth. Our forum must be a forum where truth and sincerity prevail and not a place where politically correct statements are made. So, very important prospective development, the exact nature of which is still uncertain, though, as I have now repeatedly said, Rahul Gandhi claims that he has insider information, and that insider information could not perhaps prove altogether wrong, because after all, a person who passes on inside information holds himself accountable. So, and Rahul Gandhi, of course, has taken it seriously, and he says that he's ready to receive them with open arms. So, this is the issue that I thought I would share with you. Um, pardon me. Pardon me. Age is not very kind to my throat. I hope you'll forgive me for my gross inadequacies, but I must still carry on with my mission in spite of all my limitations, imperfections, inabilities, inadequacies. Counting on your generosity, your endurance, and your benevolent tolerance of the weaknesses of this old man. I love all of you. It's a great privilege to stay connected with each one of you. May all blessings rest and abide upon you. May the peace of God descend on India, and may justice and peace prevail in our land. Jai Hind.